Tarzan is directed by David Yates and stars Alexander Skarsgård, Margot Robbie, Samuel L. Jackson, and Christoph Waltz. And this movie is basically about how Tarzan, after the first Tarzan movie, he's more of a sophisticated guy. He's very uptight, he's just a normal British guy. He goes by John Clayton now, and he is called back to Africa, which was his old home. He is called back because there's trouble brewing in there, revolving around Christoph Waltz, who's the villain of this movie. But Jane then gets captured, and it's up to Tarzan and Samuel L. Jackson to help her. So guys, instead of explaining what my thoughts were going into this movie, I think I'd just show it. I'm gonna reenact my entire history going into Legend of Tarzan. Whoa, that looks really cool. This looks like could be a really cool Tarzan movie, and it's directed by David Yates. Oh, he directed Harry Potter movies. That sounds like a great idea. Whoa, this trailer looks cool. The visuals look awesome. Margot Robbie as Jane. That's a great idea. She'd fit that role perfectly. Christoph Waltz as Clayton. That works. I like that. Oh, wait a minute. It's a sequel? Why is it a sequel? Why can't you just remake Tarzan in live action form? Why does it have to be a sequel? What? Christoph Waltz isn't Clayton, but he'd be great at that role. What? But hey, maybe they can do a good live-action sequel to a Disney cartoon. Maybe they could actually pull that off somehow. Hook did it. Maybe this movie could. David Yates is a good director. This movie better be good. Oh, bad reviews. Okay. Whatever. So I had weird feelings going into this movie because I liked the director, I liked the cast, and I liked the trailers, but the plot was really strange sounding, and then the reviews were really bad. So I was kind of worried going into this movie, but I saw it anyway. I also grew up with this movie, the Tarzan cartoon. And let me just say, this movie is 10 billion times better than the movie we just got. This new Tarzan movie was a massive disappointment for me because I really like the director and I really like that old cartoon. I was really upset because this movie is not very good. I was let down. I basically just walked out of the theater and went home just like, really down. I felt really down because I really do like that cartoon. I really grew up on it, and Legend of Tarzan was a massive, massive disappointment for me. But let's start off with the cast first. Alexander Skarsgård is fine as Tarzan. He's not anything great in my opinion. I just thought he was fine. He has his moments. He has really good scenes, but I don't think he's anything great. He's just fine. I didn't love the character. He was just okay. Margot Robbie, when I heard she was cast as Jane, I was like, yeah, that's a good casting choice. I really like Margot Robbie. That would work perfectly. But she doesn't really have anything to do in this movie, really. I mean, she has good moments. Her performance is good. She was fine in this movie. But she doesn't have that much to do because she's captured the majority of the time, and it's just like, okay, you kind of wasted Margot Robbie. Samuel L. Jackson, by far the greatest part of this movie, because throughout this movie, everyone is just dull. This entire movie is just dull and lifeless, and there's nothing fun about it in a Tarzan movie, and Samuel L. Jackson was the only character who wanted to make it fun. He was hilarious in this movie. Every scene with Samuel L. Jackson was so fun to watch because he was actually having fun. One of the things that's so great about Tarzan, this movie right here, is that it is fun. It has charisma. It has humor. It doesn't take itself way too seriously. That's what Legend of Tarzan does. It takes itself way, way too seriously because, okay, a man being raised by apes and acting like an ape, doesn't that sound a little bit ridiculous? And if you take that story way too seriously, it doesn't really work because it's a cheesy character. It's a cheesy source material. And if you take it way too seriously, it's gonna feel really weird. Like, there are literally scenes where Tarzan's like relating to a bunch of lions. He's just like going like, oh, I'm gonna talk to these lions here, and he's just like hugs them. He just does the little cat rub thing. He's like, and they were playing like really epic music, like it was supposed to be an emotional, cool thing, but you're just laughing because this movie takes itself way too seriously, and it's a movie about a man-ape guy. The original cartoon did have heartfelt moments, but for the most part, that was just a really fun, charismatic movie. And the overly serious tone that David Yates was trying to give off did not work. You have to have fun with a Tarzan movie. If it's not fun, it's just really boring. Because that's how I felt in this movie. Like, in the middle of the movie, I just completely zoned out. I was just like, oh, there's a kid in front of me with her phone. I wonder what she's doing on there. Because it's just so boring when you're watching a Tarzan movie that doesn't have any charisma at all. Except for Samuel Jackson. And another thing that was really disappointing about this movie is Christoph Waltz. Now, I really liked him in Spectre last year. The only thing that I didn't like about his character is that he wasn't in the movie enough. I wanted a lot more of him. But for what he had, I thought he was incredible in that movie. And this character is so bland. He's just so boring. His motivation is that he just wants, like, these jewel things. He's just your stereotypical boring villain. And just boring. And another thing I thought was weird about this movie is that the apes were barely in it. Like, the apes are not in this movie at all. Like, in the original cartoon, there's memorable ape characters like Kerchak and Tarzan's mom. I think her name is Mala or something like that. And Turk. They were all awesome characters, and they were apes. And they were really likable characters. And then in the new movie, the apes are barely in it. I don't know if the original Tarzan story just didn't have much apes, but I was really let down by the fact that apes are barely in this movie. They're replaced by these native guys, and I was just like, this isn't Tarzan. I'm not getting a Tarzan vibe from this movie. But I have to mention, there was one really cool scene with apes where Tarzan has to fight with one of them to gain its trust. That was the best part of the movie, by far. I had so much fun with it. Samuel L. Jackson was hilarious in that scene, but that's really it with this movie. It was really the only enjoyable scene in this movie. But definitely another thing I need to commend Tarzan for is that the CGI is really good. I definitely have to say that. Not Jungle Book good, but I thought it was really good. And then I love how through this movie, they're just like giving you flashbacks of the original Tarzan story, like how he meets Jane and stuff. And it's like, why didn't you just give us that movie instead of this sequel? Because live action sequels to Disney cartoons, for me, just really don't work. I know they're not directly off the Disney cartoon, but when they do a movie like that, I just don't think it works. Why would you just do a sequel to something? And literally when they showed flashbacks to the original Tarzan story, it's like, you know, you're kind of teasing us. I would have much rather wanted to watch that movie or the cartoon. Why are you showing us flashbacks of a movie we couldn't have seen? Because you didn't make it for some reason. Just basically everything in this movie, save for a few action scenes, was a huge bore. I was super disappointed by Legend of Tarzan. I felt like this movie could have been so great, especially from David Yates. He made some really great Harry Potter movies. What the heck happened, David? Don't ruin Fantastic Beasts. That's sacred ground. And you want to know something else that makes this movie 10 billion times better than the new movie that we just got? Phil fricking Collins. Guys, I'm gonna give Legend of Tarzan a C-. Really disappointing movie. Just see BFG instead, because Tarzan was just such a bore. So guys, if you like this video, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And for upcoming stuff, I'm going to be reviewing The Last Airbender. I've been talking about that for a while. I definitely need to watch that soon. That's going to be fun. And Plumber Night Season 2 over on the Rich Alvarez channel finally finished. So soon, I'm going to have a collab review with Jackson Fulcher on his channel, and I don't know when that's happening, because we both have to watch it and take notes. I already did a stupid Mario World review on there as well, so like, be sure to check over on his channel, even though most of you are probably subscribed to him already, but I'm going to be collabing with him soon. Just awareness. Okay, bye.